Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the Courtside View podcast. I'm your host, Brian, and
This is
uh
Aaron. Y'all know what man, y'all know what's up. Y'all know what's up. Listen. Um, the universe works in mysterious ways. If we were doing this on a Tuesday, my energy would be completely different. I'm still pissed. I'm still mad at what transpired on Monday. But I learned a few things, but y'all know what I'm gonna be talking about. if you seen Instagram, YouTube story, y'all already know what's up. Let's get down to business though, because I got a lot to say. Number one, what did I tell you, Brian? I told you what was gonna happen. I told you that no matter how bad that Eagles offense is, we are going to lose that game. And the reason we're gonna lose that game is because the offensive line and Matt LaFleur. And what happened? Offensive line and Matt LaFleur. But I also will say this. Jordan Love is slowly regressing. I
wait, I
have to
thought we
admit
were
that.
live.
Jordan Love is slowly regressing. No, we're not live. I recorded it
Okay.
because you know, that's another thing. My computer broke. It seems like the universe is trying to make me they're trying to censor me in a way. But you can't
Treat
censor
her
me.
real.
I'm still here. I'm still here. But anywho, Jordan Love is slowly regressing. Um, he left a lot of plays on the table this game. That was very unfortunate. The Jordan Love from weeks 1 to 5 is not the same Jordan Love from this past week. And what I mean by that is his anticipation, his ability to see the field and be able to go through his progressions on time. His clock is speeding up a lot more, meaning he's rushing through his progressions a lot more. He missed a dig route by Romeo Dobbs, and he missed a corner route by Romeo Dobbs. He missed a post route by Christian Watson. Now you could say, well, it's a kind of a difficult throw, but I've seen him make those throws. Yes, it'll be a difficult throw. He'll have to make a layered throw. But Christian, I've seen Jordan Love make those throws. Matter of fact, he made that exact throw on a play action in the same game. So he can make those type of throws. And then he missed another throw where he was holding the ball too long, potentially to Musgrave. So these are just things that he would normally make from weeks 1 through 5. Now he's not making because, in my opinion, I think it's due to the offensive line and the fact that he doesn't trust the offensive line. The offensive line has regressed so much. He was pressured on 40% of his drop back. He was sacked 3 times. And I think there was 13 QB pressures this game. I think it was. No, 17, excuse me, which is a lot.
Mm.
So think about that. When you're a quarterback and you're somebody that is an anticipatory thrower, you're somebody that likes to stand in the pocket. In order for you to really get the best out of that quarterback, he needs time. And when your offensive line is continuously losing over and over and over again, eventually, just like so many different QBs, beginning of the year, I saw this from Mahomes. Their play clock in their head, it starts to go faster. Instead of 3 seconds, now they're speeding up to 2 seconds. And that's a problem. Now Jordan Love needs to be better. Obviously, he has some to blame for this. But I also want to talk about Matt LaFleur. You know what I mean? I want to show you something because this is all the plays on first down. I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and I'll show you guys. Give me 1 second. Shit. Hold on. I'll just read it out to you. So these are all the plays on first down for the entire game. Every play. Josh Jacob run. Josh Jacob run. Josh Jacob run. Jordan Love fumbles, which would have been a run play to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacob run. Josh Jacob run. Jordan Love passing complete. Jordan Love pass short. Jordan Love pass short. Jordan Love pass short. Jordan Love sack. Jordan Love pass short. Now, and then when I keep going, Josh Jacob run. Josh Jacob run. Josh Jacob run. Jordan Love pass. Josh Jacob run. Josh Jacob run. You get the idea.
Yeah.
You get the idea. The first quarter alone, it was run after run after run after run after run. And let me tell you something, Brian. You know, I hear all these people saying, well, when they give you the look that you want, of course they're going to run the ball. But here's the thing. There was no light boxes. It was 6, 7 guys in a box. That's not a light box. A light box is 5 or less. There was at least 6 guys in the box and they were playing too high. So what do you do when you're playing too high, too shell, whatever it is? Attack the middle of the field, play action. They didn't do none of that in the first quarter until later in the game. So when you continuously do the same thing over and over and over again, and there's 6 and 7 guys in the box, what do you expect is going to happen? Your offense is not going to move down the field at all. And they predicted it every single time. How many explosive runs did we have? I don't think we had any explosive runs. How are you supposed to produce points when your offense is that predictable? That's why I have to go to Matt LaFleur, because he's the guy that is calling the play. He's the guy that is electing to run the ball on first and a lot second down. And as you witnessed, Brian, the first and second quarter, when we weren't able to produce points, yes, offensive line is atrocious at run blocking. But I can say, even though we weren't the best at pass blocking, there were still moments in that game where you can still run play action and get some type of explosive play. But we just elected not to. And these are the things that I'm talking about with Matt LaFleur and why I posted that video where I said we fire Matt LaFleur. It's because it seems like he just doesn't have the feel of in-game adjustments at all, or just in-game schematics. He's just not a good play caller in certain points of games. And in this instance, in certain downs, he just malfunctioned. I don't understand it. So with that being said, Brian, what was your thoughts on
Oh man, that game stunk. I know some of y'all love defensive performances, but that wasn't great. It was good defense, but it was also just stinky offense the entire game. And this definitely was one of those games where I have famously in the past said whoever makes the 3 biggest plays first is going to win. And the Eagles made those 3 biggest plays. They caused Jordan Love to fumble. They got that touchdown to Smitty, which was kind of an underthrown ball, but whatever. And some other plays that I can't even remember off the top of my head. That game wasn't very entertaining to watch. It was just bad offense. Like I really am not moved by either one of the teams that played. But the thing that irked me about the Packers was the play calling just seemed so safe. It was just so risk averse. it was just vanilla. Like you're not doing nothing spectacular out there. And I know people. Romeo Dobbs went out, and he was your number one receiver. You had no Matthew Golden, but like you got to at least try something. Then you had Bo Melton. I think his name is that his name, Bo Melton.
Old Melton, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
who was a receiver turned corner. Now he's playing receiver again because injuries and stuff. And then he dropping passes on fourth down. And and the thing that killed me, even though it worked. So you mean Matt LaFleur? I don't know if Jordan Love just did this out of instinct or what. You mean to tell me the play call was on your own like 10-yard line or so to call play action on 3rd and 10?
Oh
No
yeah,
one
that was
was going to
crazy.
bite on that.
Yo,
What
that was crazy, bro,
that
and
was,
it worked
I
though.
saw that. I was like,
It,
huh?
it worked.
That
Yeah,
I can't believe that worked because like I said, okay, drive back. I said, wait, play action. No one's biting on that. But hey, maybe element of surprise, I guess. But yeah, that was ridiculous, man. And then the end of the game, that freaking 4th and 1 call. Like I was watching the game and I could literally hear the Eagles defender call out what the play was going to be, and I was like, oh, they got him. I was like, this ain't gonna work. And then lo and behold, guess what? It didn't work. So that was a easily winnable game for y'all. I would be mad at Matt LaFleur too, because time and time again we see the same issue arising with him, and people was wondering why Aaron Rodgers kept having an audible in them plays at the line, because Matt LaFleur be calling some junk. I ain't gonna lie. Like
yeah.
I have to say, out of all the Shanahan tree guys, he's probably the worst play caller as far as like
It,
creativity goes and stuff like that. He might be the worst.
well, Bobby Slowick.
Oh, Bobby Slow, good Shanahan tree guy. Oh, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bobby Slow, he got that. He takes the cake.
yeah,
It's
you're
yeah,
absolutely
it's
right.
bad. Like out of all the major ones, yeah, he might be like the least creative.
But
Because some of that
I
stuff, I was
this yeah.
like you're not going to beat a defense like the Eagles with some of those calls I was seeing on the field. It's just that simple. And Josh Jacobs getting like 3.5 yards a carry. Like, come on, his longest run of the night was 11 yards. Like, what are we talking about here? And you insistently run the but 2nd and 7 and we running the ball. Why?
That's what
It,
I'm
it just
saying, bro.
it doesn't. I can't stand that safe coward play calling. Like, and how come all the games y'all lost, the opponent scored like 13 points or less?
Offense stinks.
That's
Predictable.
ridiculous. If your defense holds a team to 10 points, you need to win.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like again, I say this. I'll give Matt LaFleur some slack. The offensive line has been pretty bad this year.
And
But
y'all lost a guy or two during
yeah,
the game as well.
Elton Jenkins.
Yeah.
But as bad as it's been, I don't think it's so bad where you still can't come up with something to produce points. Now, it's very problematic that you can't run the ball because I remember when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, played Kansas City and stuff like that. Their offensive line on passing downs wasn't great, but the one thing they could do, they could run that ball. And with the Packers, they can't run the ball to save their life, and that's what Matt LaFleur wants to do the most. You got to remember, he came from Tennessee. They were one of the best running teams in the NFL when he was the offensive coordinator. But what people tend to forget is that their passing offense was atrocious. They were one of the bottom in the league in passing offense. And so you hire him and he comes to Green Bay, there was a lot of questions about, well, yeah, he's a good OC when it comes to the running game, but Aaron Rodgers, they've never been a team that ran the ball a whole lot. So how is that going to gel? And luckily, Aaron Rodgers being the great all-time Hall of Fame quarterback that he is, they were able to make it work. But now, when you don't have Aaron Rodgers anymore, and now you have to start from scratch pretty much with Jordan Love and figure it out. It just seems he doesn't consistently dial up some good passing concepts that can scheme guys open. Because I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of people want to criticize the Packer receivers, and by all means, they deserve some blame for this as well. There were some key drops that they could have made. One was Romeo Dobbs, where Jordan Love he threw the ball the best he could, really in tight coverage. And there were some other plays. Christian Watson, if he would have done a better job of tracking the ball instead of giving up on the play and just pretty much acting like a DB in that instance, maybe we could have got another big play. But there was key, and then Dontavian Wicks as well. I think it was Bo Melton, so the receivers are to blame as well for this. But with all that being said, even with average receivers, you can still dial up good passing concepts to get some type of some type of offensive gelling going on. Because I've seen it with the Bills, even though the Bills have been struggling as of late. Over the years, I've seen the Bills with average wide receiver talent still generate points in the passing game. I've seen it with Kansas City. Shoot, Rasheed Rice went out, they were still able to figure out some type of way to get some points going from the passing game. Why can't Matt LaFleur do the same thing? Freaking 49ers. They have so many receivers will go out, get injured, etc. Brandon Ayuk's out, Debo will be out, and they will plug and play and still figure out a way to get a Jawan Jennings the ball or Kendrick Bourne the ball. Like all these different dudes you never heard of, or were just a wide receiver three. Now they're
Shoot,
getting production like a wide receiver one or a wide receiver two. Like these
shoot,
are
look at the
things that
Patriots.
exactly. And even to a certain extent, Kevin O'Connell sometimes. I remember Justin Jefferson, he may have been hurt one year, and Jordan Addison came in and he took up the reins as the wide receiver one. Even your Cowboys. Remember your Cowboys with George Pickens and a couple of guys. Like it's possible. It's possible. It's just can the play caller figure out a way to get the best out of this passing attack? And for whatever reason, Matt LaFleur can't do it. Matt LaFleur just doesn't know how to do it. And that's a problem. That's a major problem. Now, people will say, well, what wide receiver is on the caliber of George Pickens or Jordan Addison? That's fair. That's fair. But I just mentioned with the 49ers with like a Kendrick Bourne or a Jawan and Jennings or somebody like that who are pretty average wide receivers, and they were still getting um, production from the passing game, even though they're average wide receivers. So I don't want to hear that excuse. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear that excuse.
Shoot,
That's
even the
that's just
Giants getting production in the passing game, and their
it's
number one receivers Slayton, I
Darius
think.
Slayton.
Yeah,
Darius Slayton. Like it's just it blows my mind. And then Matthew Golden, although he was out this game, even if he was playing in this game,
I
I
don't think it would
guarantee
have
you
made much of a difference.
he wouldn't have made much of a difference because
They
the
don't even
way
throw
that
him
they
the ball.
utilize him, most his receptions, most his targets are behind the line of scrimmage. So how do you expect an outside receiver to get much production when most of his targets are behind the line of scrimmage? These are some of the things that I've noticed throughout the season that just boils down to Matt LaFleur's lack of creativity and his lack of innovation. He just doesn't know how to consistently dial up good passing concepts. It's just that simple. But at the same time, and I'm gonna put a bow on this, the number one problem is always going to go back to the offensive line. It's always doesn't matter how bad of a play caller Matt LaFleur is. If the offensive line can't block consistently, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to lose most of the time. You're not going to generate enough offense if your offensive line can't block consistently. Because we saw with Kansas City at the beginning of the season with Mahomes. Mahomes was struggling. That offense was struggling because that offensive line wasn't consistently blocking for Mahomes. And then towards maybe week 4, week 5, like 2 weeks before Rasheed Rice came back, and then they got some receivers back, all of a sudden they were able to, um, I guess, broaden that playbook. And now you're looking at Kansas City like, damn, like this offense looks like the 2022 Chiefs. It's because offensive line is blocking. If your offensive line can't block, you're going to be limited on what you can do offensively. And that's why this offense looks very predictable to a certain extent, is because of that offensive line. I don't think Matt LaFleur can trust this offensive line enough to where he can expand the playbook and try different things. So now he's just saying, okay, we're just going to have to limit what we can do to only what this offensive line is able to accomplish. And that is certain run plays, screen passes, I don't know, like stuff like that. That's all they can really do because this offensive line.
Yeah.
All they can really do. But this offense is broken. It's broken. There's no saving this offense.
Mm.
Um, if I'll say this. I said fire Matt LaFleur. Um, I'll give him to the end of the season. Let's see what he looks like until the end of the season. And if this team can't get better, we're still struggling to score, and there's still situational play calling issues from him, then that's when we can revisit the conversation again. So that's all I'll
That's
say on
fair.
that.
That's fair.
All right.
Because he's been the coach for what, 7 years now?
Yeah, 7 seasons. 7 seasons. It's crazy. And people in the group chat was like, "Oh, you're jumping to conclusions too fast. Like this is a good head coach." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's a good head coach, but like he's been here for 7 seasons, and he's had some pretty good teams. And he had Aaron Rodgers, who won back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back number one seeds, and you lose at home like that to a team that people thought you were the favorite. So it's whatever, man. It's whatever. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay calm. But we'll revisit this after the season. And if we can't improve and we don't make the playoffs, he gotta go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. I want to talk about the Bills. Bills versus Dolphins. This was a shocking game. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a feeling like when I was doing my game picks and predictions, I had a feeling it would be a close game just because the Dolphins have been playing pretty decent as of late. But I ain't expect the Bills to just flat out lose like that. And this is
Yeah,
it's something that I noticed with the Bills that a lot of people are starting to come around to, which is very interesting to hear about this MVP caliber QB. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Mm,
I will say this though, for their defense, they have a pretty. It's not a bad defense. I was looking at their overall rankings, and for the most part, they're about a middle of the pack defense. They're not terrible. They're not bad. They're pretty mediocre. They're one of the best passing defenses. But I think the reason why they're one of the best passing defenses is because they're one of the worst rushing defenses.
mm.
A lot of teams are deciding, you know what? Let's not pass the ball. Let's run the ball. And what we saw from Miami is an inserted effort to run the football. Achan had 174 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on 22 carries. That's an inserted effort to really take advantage of that Buffalo's bad defensive front. And because of that, the Dolphins were able to win. And also Jalen Waddle as well. Jalen Waddle was amazing this game. He had 5 receptions, 84 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. He had that touchdown against Maxwell Harrison, the first
Yep,
round
he did.
pick, which is a bad sign if the first round pick is getting picked apart like that. The Bills, I said this before the season. I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you guys that Josh Allen going to have to be Superman this year if they got a shot. Because where is the talent outside of James Cook? Where's the talent? They have a good offensive line. I'll give them credit. They got a good offensive line. But outside of James Cook, who can you trust at receiver? I was watching film. Josh Allen was making an concerted effort to give Keon Coleman the ball. And sometimes it was on Josh Allen. He could have thrown a better ball to help Keon Coleman out. But for the most part, Keon Coleman, his lack of speed and his lack of ability to win on press coverage, it's not helping Josh Allen at all. There's no explosiveness. There's no dynamic. There's nothing dynamic about this offense because the receivers can't separate consistently enough. This is a problem. And this is why in our previous episodes, I said Bills have to trade for a receiver because they don't have the explosiveness on the offense. And it showed itself this game, no matter how many spectacular plays Josh Allen, no matter how many times he's able to escape in the pocket. If you don't have the talent to separate consistently, if you don't have the talent to get open, you're not winning many football games. You're not scoring many points. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. What are you going to say?
Okay, so what I said was that's disappointing or interesting to hear from this MVP level QB is that if you stop James Cook, you pretty much stop the Bills entirely on offense. I mean, it is ridiculous how this is the I don't know what game this is where what their Bills record? They're what 5-4?
They're 6-3 right now.
6-3, 6-3. I think all three of those losses, James Cook has been shut down or neutralized, and they lost the game. And that is ridiculous. I know, like people saying to release Keon Coleman and all kind of stuff. I mean, listen, the front office did have a do a poor job of surrounding weapons, putting weapons around Josh Allen. But for MVP QB to say if your running game gets shut down, you pretty much have no shot. That is saying something because
Yes.
there's been
Yeah.
time. Like, look at Mahomes. Do you think the Chiefs got a good running game? Nope. People, oh,
No.
they got Xavier Worthy, but like he literally won a Super Bowl without his Juju Smith was getting real targets in the Super Bowl when he won, and they still ain't had
Mm-hmm.
that great of a run game. Shoot, even Lamar, he was getting his game off when they had Mark Ingram out there being one of the lead backs. I mean, this is getting out of hand. The Bills, as much as people want to look at them as contenders, I don't see it. I know you got Josh Allen, of course, anything is possible, but like if you can't produce offense outside of the run game, then what you
Mm-hmm.
really don't have a shot, especially in the AFC. It's a lot of tough teams over there. So it's just disappointing to see the Dolphins. This response from the Dolphins that they're competitive week in, week out shows that I think the team still believes in Mike McDaniel, like it's, at least the players, because they still going out there competing. They haven't fully quit or anything like that. So I do think Mike McDaniel probably gets another year because of the way the team has responded to all that stuff. But Tua has to go. Tua still isn't great in my eyes, but at least Mike McDaniel job might be safe. But then again, they could lose out and then he gets fired. So I mean,
I think he
who
gets
knows at
fired.
this
I think
point?
he's cooked. I think he's cooked.
He might be.
If you're
Some
if
teams gonna get a heck of an offensive coordinator.
they
Once he's
fired Chris Greer, I think the next domino is going to be the coach
oh, true.
and it's going
Yeah,
to be the
because
quarterback.
yeah, usually you don't want to bring like a new GM in and he don't get to pick your staff or whatever. So I could see
Yeah.
that.
Especially if the opportunity to get a Ty Simpson or a Mendoza. Like, come on. Fernando Mendoza.
True.
I think the writing is on the wall for the Dolphins, especially if you just cut Tua and then draft a quarterback in the top 5. It's pretty simple what they're going to do. If they're a small organization, that's what I would do. Just clean house, start over, new GM, new head coach, new quarterback, and go from there.
Do you
But
think this is kind of a quick sidebar? I don't want to spend too much time, but do you think organizations will be more risk risk averse as to paying QBs this large, like top end of the market money? Because there's a lot of QBs making $200+ million or close to it that hasn't worked out. I mean, Kyler Murray, he ain't at 200 mil, but he was getting outplayed by Jacoby Brissett up until the last game. Um, Trevor
mhm,
Lawrence hasn't really made no noise. Obviously, Tua up there sticking up the joint. Like,
I,
this is
I don't
quite a.
think so.
So you still think they're just going to continue to be
Turns
like,
out
okay,
there,
the dude is borderline top 15. Let's give him top end of the QB money.
nah, I don't think so. I think organizations are always going to make dumb decisions because they're
Mm.
desperate. You look at the Dolphins, you look at the Jaguars, you look at the Cardinals, look at all these teams. It don't matter what they do. If you draft the quarterback in the top 5, in the top 10, and by like year 3, they have that one good season, and then they're just getting close to time to extend their contract. They want to prove to the organization, to the ownership, that they made the right decision in drafting the quarterback. So they're going to overpay him. They're going to show like, hey, we were right, just so they can keep their job. This is going to continue to happen. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says. Look at Brock Purdy as well. Like, it's always going
That's
to happen.
another QB I was about. I forgot the name.
Teams are dumb. Like, there's more dumb organizations than there are smart organizations, and I just think it's never going to not be the case where teams are going to overspend because quarterback is the most important position in football. So they believe that, hey, we just surround this quarterback with enough pieces, we got a shot. When that's just not the case most of the time, especially with a quarterback like Tua. We said it before, when they signed that contract, when Tua signed that contract, we were like, oh my God, he just finessed the Dolphins. Like, he really just took them to the cleaners, because I didn't think he was worth $200+ million. You didn't think he was worth $200+ million.
Nope.
But understanding the market, understanding the scarcity of the QB position, teams are going to panic. Teams are going to be like, well, we don't want to be wrong. We don't want the perception to go out there that, oh, we were wrong to draft him over Justin Herbert. Let's resign him so we could justify it. That's the mentality. Even though Tua has had so many concussions, so many injuries, even dating back to college, it's the pride, it's the ego. It doesn't matter if it's logical or not, because at the end of the day, people are gonna not think with their head, but more so with their feelings. It's always gonna be this. It's always gonna
Mm.
be this.
Sucks for them.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm looking at I'm looking at next gen, and you're absolutely right in regards to the Bills. And because remember, when they played the Falcons and they lost, James Cook didn't have 100 yards. He had 87 yards rushing that game. And then this past game, they couldn't run the ball at all. So you're absolutely right. Like, really, this offense goes where James Cook takes. It's not Josh Allen. It's literally James Cook. If James Cook has a good game, this offense is unstoppable. But if James Cook has a dud, this offense is hard to watch.
Yeah, especially
That's
because
that's yeah.
was Kincaid out this game too? I want
Kincaid
to
was
say he
playing.
was. Oh, he was
Well,
playing.
well, wait, wait. I think it was Knox that was playing. I may be
Oh,
wrong. I think it was Knox. I get them
yeah,
mixed up.
it's bad. Them receiving options is bad. Like outside of Khalil Shakir, who's solid, it's slim pickings out there.
Yeah,
It's
you're
very
right.
slim pickings.
But
Imagine having an MVP quarterback and your offense is running back or bust.
what's crazy? Like we always talked about the comparison between Lamar and Allen. To me, this is an example of why I've always been on more the Lamar side of things than the Allen side of things, is because Lamar he's had pretty much scraps and had to figure out a way to build with it, to work with it. While with Allen, he's in the past when he had Diggs and all these other guys, he's had far more talent than Lamar. But people will say, "Oh, Allen's better than him." And I'm like, but Lamar, he doesn't have a number one receiver. He doesn't have a number one running back. And yet Lamar's winning MVPs and he's doing this, that, and third. But now that Allen, with less talent, is trying to figure out, okay, how can I still generate enough points? How can I still be dominant without a number one receiver, without a good passing attack? He's had to deal with that for his pretty much 80% of his career up until this point. So it's just interesting to me how we see what's going on with Allen, but like Lamar's early years, he was dealing with that a lot, and he still was able to win a lot of games. He was still able to produce a lot of points with one of the worst play callers in the NFL, in Greg Roman. It's just funny. It's funny.
Greg Roman must have had some type of renaissance moment because he been eyeing in LA.
In LA, after a few years, but like he was with
Yeah, when
Baltimore.
Ravens, it was ooh.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, just staying in this conversation. If you remember, there was a time where people thought that Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts was better than Lamar Jackson. Remember that?
You talk about that was that Dan Orlovsky that said that or someone like that?
Whoever it was, there was a conversation.
Yeah.
And part of that is because the lack of weapons and the offensive play call was bad. And yet Lamar was still, if you watch the film, still playing at an elite level. It's just the players around him was just bad. And so now I'm looking at Josh Allen, and Josh Allen has a pretty good offensive line. He has a good running game, and yet he can't consistently generate enough points week after week after week without Stephon Diggs. Now, people want to point to, well, last year Josh Allen was amazing and he didn't have Diggs. And you're absolutely right. He did play amazing. He did. I'll give him credit about that. But what's going on with this year? My question. Why can't he produce the same way this year that he did last year? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Beats me.
Anywho, I don't want to.
He's already, he only threw 6 interceptions in the whole entire season last year. He's already at 5.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, obviously, but compared to his MVP year.
Yeah, right. Well, that
some regression.
The Mickey Mouse MVP year.
Lamar should have won that MVP, man. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, he should have won. All right, let's move on to Rams versus 49ers. I didn't have a chance to watch this one.
Whooping.
But yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. I think the two best teams in the NFC is the Rams and the Seahawks.
We on the same page. Except
after what I saw,
you can debate the Seahawks ain't really play anybody, but yes, as far as what we seeing on the field, yes, it's those two.
Yeah, just what I've noticed this entire season is that these two teams, they can put up numbers and they can win big,
and they play defense.
A lot of competition, and they play defense. So when you can produce points and you can play defense on either a good or elite level, that's a problem. And they have good quarterback play, and they have good
play call,
just offensive play call.
Yeah.
These teams, Seattle scares me, and the Rams scare me. If I'm an Eagles fan, if I'm any fan of the NFC, you should be scared of those two teams because those are the best two teams in the conference.
Those the Eagles fans gonna say we beat them already. Let me tell you something. Come January, it's gonna be a different story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. The Seahawks, man, the Seahawks and Rams are dangerous, man. Like that defense, their defenses are scary because they just have dudes, and even the dudes that you don't think are dudes are playing like dudes. Like Emmanuel Forbes, we all know how his reputation was dragged through the mud when he was in Washington. Look at him now; he's playing pretty solid. I'm telling you,
Hmm.
this is what a good culture and situation does to a player. And like the Seahawks, I will fully take the L on them having the type of
Uh,
season they're having because I ain't think they was going to be hooping like this. I mean, shoot, JSN looking like I will say this year he is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, like easily because Justin Jefferson, he I don't know what happened to him last game, but that was outrageous. But yeah, the Seahawks and the Rams are very impressive. The 49ers, they tried their best, but you got the better dudes and you too injured. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Like the 49, the Rams are. Uh, I wish my team could have a defense like that, but
they're an elite team. I don't like to
yeah,
throw that word a lot,
they're
but
good. They're
they're an
good
elite
top
team.
to bottom, top to bottom for sure.
Yeah, they're an elite team. At first, I thought maybe the Lions are coming in season, I thought maybe the Lions were the best team. Like, no, no, it's the Rams and Seahawks. Like, we can talk
Yeah,
about the Lions next, but like the Lions, they did a number on the Commanders. We don't need to talk about what happened during that game off the field. That's a different story in itself. But this was expected. Like the Commanders, they're pretty much done. Like
yeah, they're done.
everybody's hurt, guys are getting suspended, the quarterback is hurt. What do we need to talk about? What we
It's,
need to
it's,
talk
it's,
about? It's
it's
not
it's
much.
getting real difficult to make content on that team over having the clickbait to get the
Right.
views, but the Commanders, what a man. We really tried to tell them though. We really did. We tried to tell them, and they didn't want to listen. They wanted to believe so badly that all you needed was an elite QB to really be in it every single year. And I'm like, dude, championship windows they almost don't exist in the NFL at this point because you really low key have 1 year. And if you don't strike on that 1 year, unless you're one of the few teams that like draft really well, which they don't, or consistently attract big free agents, which they also don't. You're not going to be in it every year. But I mean, I don't know what they expected. I mean, I said y'all were like, unfortunately, they were a Jaden Daniels injury away from catastrophe, and lo and behold, he's gotten hurt not once but twice this season. And everybody else done got hurt on the team as well. And even it's not even the old guys that they signed; it's the younger ones. So this really is the season from hell for them. But yeah, the Lions came in and handled business. I mean, it is what it is. Aiden Hutchinson. Actually, Aiden Hutchinson had a quiet game for the most part. But that offense, dude, did you know that they scored 7 times in a row? They didn't
Really?
punt. Like the Lions scored 7 drives in a row.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was just
Wow.
absolutely no resistance from the Commanders' defense. That defensive unit, like I ain't gonna lie, I know the Cowboys' defense is bad. I think the Commanders are worse because this is the third game, not in general, in a row they lost by 21 points or more. That is unacceptable. And that's exactly why Dan Quinn said he's taking over the play calling responsibilities. And guess what? It ain't gonna matter.
No, it's not. All right, let's move on to a game that we both picked and we were both right about: the Ravens versus Vikings. Um, it's funny.
I
It's
mean, that was kind of
funny.
easy, low key.
It's funny how like things can quickly spiral for a team that was considered you're by yourself a really good team coming into the season. Okay. Wow. JJ McCarthy What is your
So
thoughts on
you
JJ
gotta call
McCarthy?
you gotta call him by his alter ego Nine.
Nine,
Oh my goodness. JJ
nine.
McCarthy, he's so up and down. Like he'll have one good week and then the next week he'll look terrible. He's just not ready for prime time yet. He I know now, granted, Justice Jefferson was bull jiving that game and received they could have had better performances from the pass catchers, but JJ McCarthy just sometimes he looks good, sometimes he looks like a rookie playing QB, which he essentially kind of is because this is really his first year starting. But it is he looked bad against the Ravens. I'm not gonna lie, and the amount of excuses I'm seeing for him, they blaming everybody but him for some of the stuff that happened that game. I'm like, all right, let's get realistic here. And shoot, Kevin O'Connell, he's not calling up the best game either because some of this stuff, I'm like, why are you asking this dude to do that? And this ain't him. This not his game. Like all of these route concepts, sometimes like players are running too deep. I'm like, where are the layups? And it's just like it's like after them scripted plays, after the first 15 plays, Kevin O'Connell he turns into a duck. Like I don't understand. It happened like that last year with Sam Darnold. The first 15 would he be on fire. Then after that, it would be like, ooh, where's the
Yeah,
elite play calling?
those interceptions by JJ McCarthy were egregious. Like what was he seeing?
Like the one
That was terrible.
when Justin Jefferson tripped. I don't even like that read, even though you could blame that on him. But like that ball didn't even look like it was going to be. He was going to be able to compete for that. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the Vikings disappointed. I know they probably kicking himself in the butt letting Sam Darnold walk. Because boy, if this is where you're gonna hit your wagon to for your franchise to for the foreseeable future, man, I ain't gonna lie, QB would not be out of the question if they were able to lose enough games.
I love it. I love it. Glad that they elected to go with JJ McCarthy. You know, as a
Traded up for him
Vikings
too.
hater, traded up for him too. Because this is what you get. We talked about this before he even got drafted. He wasn't throwing the ball a whole lot at Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he
It was
wasn't.
more so the running game. It was more so the running game, power football. He was a game manager, and people raved about his anticipation, the way he throws the football. I'm like, okay, he's mobile. I'm like, all right, we'll see, we'll see. He hasn't thrown the ball a whole lot. We'll see. And lo and behold, he gets into a pretty good situation with a pretty good play caller, and he's struggling. Like he's struggling to complete the layup. Brian, I know you mentioned where's the layups. He can't complete the layups. That's the problem. So many times I'll see him throw the football and it's late or it's off target. He just has a problem. I don't get it. I remember you said something. You said he only reads one side of the field. I think you
I
said that.
promise you, I was like, oh my goodness, he's not even looking at the other side before he's throwing the ball.
You can't win. You can't win with somebody like that. Like how you expect to produce a lot of points if your quarterback is not reading both sides of the field and he's late on throws and he's not accurate on throws and the interception that he threw when he was trying to target Justin Jefferson on the deep pass, there was a safety already there, and then he had somebody else guarding him. So you threw it in double coverage. So this is like mental stuff that he still doesn't understand that you just can't make as a quarterback. He's not ready. He is not ready. And they put this man out there, and now they're screwed. They are screwed.
And okay, here's also another thing. I know they were kind of like down for the most part in this game, but why in the world is he throwing 42 times? And Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason combined only got 13 carries. Are you kidding me? What is that? That is malpractice from a play calling aspect.
No, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't. But I want to go to the Ravens side of things because it seems like the Ravens are starting to
Man, the
get a little
Ravens,
bit of a
I'm
groove.
telling you, Lamar really is probably the biggest needle mover in the
He
NFL.
is. He didn't even have a good game, but
He
it
really
didn't
did
really
it.
matter. It didn't really matter because that defense was balling. Defense actually held in their bargain. I'm surprised the defense was able to um, generate some turnovers, generate some type of pressure, because that hasn't been the case for this defense this entire season. But over the past few games, since they've gone on this winning streak, the defense has really stepped up to play. Marlon Humphreys, Kyle Hamilton, other guys, Malachi Starks,
Yeah,
safety, yeah, Malachi Starks. These guys are making plays in the secondary, and then I think they traded for somebody, and he's making plays as well. So hey man, the Ravens, they only like what are they, 2 games behind the Steelers?
I believe so. Yeah, they're 4-5.
Hey, well,
They could run the table. Let me look at their schedule, the remaining schedule. I don't think it's that crazy. Let me see.
hey man,
Ravens,
hey.
because
All they
they
gotta
got they
all they
got
gotta do is
the
beat the
Jets.
Steelers.
Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, they got the Browns this week. The Jets the week after that. The Bengals after that. That's gonna be a crazy shootout. Then they got the Steelers again. Well, no, they got the Steelers for the first time. The Bengals, Patriots, Packers, and the Steelers to end the season.
Hey man, I think 10 games, 10 wins gets you the division. I think that's all it's gonna take.
Probably.
I think 10 wins gets you the division. And I think they could run the table. I say they probably lose 1 or 2 more games. But if they
Yeah.
could get the Steelers, if they could get the Steelers
In order to
twice, which
get
I
in
don't,
order to get to they really can only afford to lose 1 or 2 more.
hey, they
I
can
think they
do it.
probably draw one against the Steelers because that's what they always do. And they probably lose one between the Packers and Patriots.
Do you think that the division itself with the Browns and the Bengals, do you think they sweep those 2 teams?
Yes,
Hmm.
because if in a shootout scenario, I trust Lamar. Shoot, he
I
did it
think I'm
last year.
agree. I think I'm gonna agree with you because look who's the QB for the Browns right now.
Exactly.
If it was Joe Flacco, it would be a different story. Even though Joe Flacco's been a bit shaky, but since it's Dylan Gabriel, they're gonna sweep the Browns. Simple. Simple. But yeah, man, salute to the Ravens, bro. I really want to see the Ravens make the playoffs because I'm gonna be honest, as much as I like Aaron Rodgers, he's old in that offense.
That offense is so boring to watch.
I don't know. Yeah. Yes. And the defense is pretty bad. So I don't really want to see this. Let's move on. Um Pats and Bucks. Pats and Bucks. This is
Did we
another
both
game I
pick the
think.
Pats?
Yeah, we both picked the
Yeah.
Pats. Yeah. What is your
This
thoughts on the
this
Pats?
Pats are a very good football team. You definitely was more so on the more optimistic side about the Pats this year. I was more on the cautiously optimistic because Mike Vrabel's a good coach and Drake made development. I knew he was going to take a year or two leap. I didn't expect him to be 8-2, leading the daggone AFC East and borderline being top of the daggone conference as a whole, but they're a really good football team. And Drake May he can ball, like flat out he can ball. And and I'm finally glad they're letting Travion Henderson off the leash because you drafted him to be that home run hitter early in the draft. And guess what? He already got two. He had two of this game. Um, I was gonna put him on the salute segment, but unfortunately, we only got 3 spots, and two other players had crazier games. But man, like look at the weapons they're doing it out here with. Like Matt Collins had 100 yards, Cal Williams had 72. Diggs only had 46. DeMar, like they're just spreading the ball evenly everywhere. And they're playing some great complementary football. Because that defense goes out there and you know what they do? They
What
play
they
the
do?
run.
Yes, they do. There
They're
you
not
go.
the greatest defense in the world, but they do enough to where you go against a high power offense like the Bucks on the road, and you only hold them to 23 points, that's pretty
Hmm.
solid. And to get on the Bucks side of things, I've been saying it. I know they only had 3 losses, but I've been saying this might not be their way of winning is not going to be sustainable for the entire season because they've been skating. They were skated by early in the season. They was game winning field goal after game winning field goal, having close matches with teams like the Jets and stuff. I'm like, this is the bubble is eventually going to burst. And I believe they've lost. I'm not going to say 2 out of their last 3. That might not be accurate, but they have been losing more
Hmm.
recently. So hopefully they get back on track. Once Bucky Irvin and them comes back, but that defense for the Buccaneers doesn't really move me. Like
Yeah, they're one of the
outside of
worst passing defenses in the league.
exactly, and because Antoine Winfield, he can only do so much, and they aren't getting much pass rush outside of like Vita Vea. You would think Kalijah Kancey would have a bigger. Wait, is he hurt?
I don't know.
I don't see him on the stat sheet. He might actually not even be playing.
Yeah, he might have not even playing.
I don't see him. That actually explains a lot.
Mm.
So yeah, outside of Vita Vea, they really ain't getting much pressure or pass rush or anything like that. Like Drake May has been taking sacks left and right all year. They only was able to generate 1 sack.
Mm.
So yeah, that tells you everything you need to know. So uh I still think the Bucks will be in the mix for the playoffs, but I can't put them in contender category based on this current team's construction, the way they've just been playing recently. Too many injuries, and then the defense ain't worth much in the passing game.
No, you know what's interesting? You mentioned Pats defense. I'm gonna ask you this question: where do you think the Pats run defense ranks in the NFL?
I believe they're like, as far as like yards per game,
Just overall? Yeah, yards,
um,
yards.
I want to say they're like 8 or something like that.
They're one.
One,
Yeah,
dang.
the
Yeah,
number one. Yeah,
that's good. That's really good.
when you sign Milton Williams and you
Who people
invest in
thought was an
defensive line,
overpay,
yeah, that's gonna happen for you.
and then you
But I
got
also want to say
Christian
you meant,
Barmore in them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to say this because you mentioned the Patriots offense and the tone of your voice, I could tell you were like you're not all impressed with the weapons, but they're still making it happen. It's funny the fact that they have a lot of average wide receivers and they're still producing points. It's very funny. It sounds like another team that has average wide receivers, but except that team can't produce points. You know what I mean? A team that's
Yeah.
green and yellow. You see a team can still produce points with average wide receivers and running backs that are pretty average.
I
You,
don't know
you know
what
what I'm
it
saying?
is with Josh McDaniels. He puts on that Patriots uniform, he just turns into a great play caller. Any other team, he's garbage.
Yeah, he's pretty garbage. You put the head coach, um, you make him a head coach. He's pretty much not good at
Mike Vrabel, man,
pretty.
he's easily a top 5 coach in the league in my eyes. The Tennessee gave up on him after putting that garbage around him. Who was he supposed? How was he supposed to produce with that?
Hmm. And I'm looking at, and the thing is, I'm looking at the Patriots um, win rate rankings, and they're 21st in pass blocking win rate, but they're ninth in run blocking win rate.
Mm,
So like it's pretty much the opposite when it comes to my team. My team is fifth in pass block win rate, but we're 24th in run block. It's
that is
interesting. Interesting. Anywho, this is not a Packers segment. Um, let's move on. Salute to the Patriots. Let's move on to the Colts versus Falcons. I had the Colts win in this game,
I
and they
think
won.
almost everybody did.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I will say A lot of my skepticism of this team showed itself this week and last week
I agree.
in regards to the quarterback play and also the defense to a certain extent. Because as much as I like the sauce move, I don't like how many picks they gave up. You can still move the ball on this team. Now, this game, I want to say they still scored 25. The Falcons still scored 25 on this team with Michael Penix stinking it up. So, like, the Colts are a good team. They're going to win the division for sure. But in terms of being an elite team, I'm not there yet. I think they're a good team. I think they're going to be very competitive going forward. But I can't trust Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm at. Where are you?
Thing with the Colts is that defense is you can get the upper hand on that defense, and as we see, shoot the Daniel Jones took 7 sacks that game, and a lot of times sacks are QB stats. So Daniel Jones definitely he dropped his eyes a little bit. You know, he his lack of pocket awareness wasn't what it was early season, and he got sacked. And like they're a good team. Like they are such an explosive team, and they generate a lot of big plays and stuff. Obviously, because Jonathan Taylor, you could argue, is should be number one on the MVP ladder. But like you said, Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones at times. He did come in clutch towards at the end of the game, though. He made like a
Hmm.
really good play. That throw was to Tyler Warren. Him and Tyler Warren connected on a big play. I think it was fourth down actually, and
Yeah.
he took a big risk and it worked out. But I feel like you can get the upper hand on this team come January because as much as like you said the sauce move going all in, that's like the sauce move is kind of like we going all in, we going for it this year, but like it's still Daniel Jones. like then he's not awful, but like yeah, I don't know. I really am high on this team though still, but not as high as I used to be. Not as high I used to be. And the Falcons ought to be ashamed of themselves. They should have won this game. And lo and behold, they lost Raheem Morris. He's not ready to be a head coach. Just point blank period. And you know what the worst part is? The Falcons are sitting at 3-6 right now. And guess what? They have no first round pick. You know what? You know who does have their first round pick?
Who?
The
The
Rams.
Rams? I knew. Uh, oh
Oh
my
yeah, yeah.
God. Yo, why? Why? Forgot
So
what happened.
it's just complete mismanagement the past few. So you paid Kirk Cousins all that money to draft Michael Penix
Hmm.
at 8. Then you go into the next year's draft. You draft Jalen Walker. Cool, he's good. Then you trade up to get James Pierce Jr. Now you paying Kirk all this money to sit on the bench. Michael Penix ain't playing good, and now you're 3-6. You ain't even got no first round pick. So what exactly can you do? Somebody has to get fired because this is outrageous. This was supposed to be a year you was supposed to really contend. People was like, "Oh yeah, the Falcons they could be up." They ain't nothing except underachievers. So hey, that is crazy, Miss Man. If I was a Falcons fan, I would be pissed.
Oh yeah.
Is that rightfully so are because ain't no way you mismanage the team this badly in only a span of 2 years. You're supposed to be a rebuild, and nope. You got Bijan Robinson. Congrats, you took Bijan Robinson top 8. Don't matter.
And you know what's crazy though? You mentioned the fact that they traded their pick for James Pierce Jr. and he has shown some flashes throughout the season. But when your team overall just isn't good and you trade your first round pick, which could have been valuable for this draft alone, it's just bad judgment. Bad judgment overall from an organization that signed Kirk Cousins to that mega deal, and then they traded up for a QB that at one point was projected like a late first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Like I
Yeah.
remember after the season, after the college football season, there was rumbling of Michael Penix might be a late first, early second round pick. And then he gets drafted top 8 in the first round. After that championship game, I was very skeptical of Michael Penix and his ability to consistently deliver the football against pressure. Because against Michigan, the slightest bit of pressure, he
Yeah.
was fidgeting.
Yep.
He was
Bad
pressing. He was
decisions,
scared.
errant throws. Yeah. And it's still like
And
that.
they said, you know what, that's our QB for the future. And that's when I was like, huh? Now I'm not gonna ignore the fact that I did say that, hey, although yes, drafting a quarterback after you just signed a veteran quarterback to all that money, I was the one few who said, hey, I like the fact that they're gonna have Michael Penix sit behind Kirk Cousins, so he doesn't have the expectation of starting early, stuff like that. They can sit him, let him watch for a year or two, and then boom, start him when he's ready. But ultimately, that's just not the case. That's just not reality. That's just not how that's just not how most organizations do things. And it's been a disaster. They have whiffed on not only Kirk Cousins, but it seems like they're whiffing on Michael Penix Jr. And somebody needs to get fired because the fact that you have been wrong about 2 quarterbacks in the same year when you signed a quarterback and you draft a quarterback and you invested a lot in both of them, somebody got to get fired. Simple. Simple.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Somebody got to get fired. And then the fact that you have B. John Robinson and you're struggling to move the ball down the field, the running game isn't able to produce as many yards as you would want to with a B. John Robinson. It's concerning. I don't understand how you have a guy in B. John Robinson and you're struggling to get the running game going consistently enough. Now, Algier was pretty decent for it. He had like 2 touchdowns for them on 11
Yeah.
carries, but Bijan, for the most part, he has 17 carries on 84 yards rushing. That's just not enough. And I'm looking at Michael Penix. The dude was 12 for 28 passing for 177 yards.
29 QBR.
I feel bad for Falcons fans. It's, yeah, they're in the mud right now. Let's move on to the Bears versus Giants. This game frustrated me on a lot of levels.
No.
I thought the Bears had this lost. I thought the Bears were done. I thought the Giants were about to complete the upset, and then all of a sudden, Jackson Dart gets hurt. He's out. The Giants are up by 10 points. Russell Wilson's in the game, and they blow.
Am I bugging for saying Jackson Dart played better than Caleb that game?
Oh, he absolutely did. 19 for 29, 242.
When are people going to open their eyes about Caleb?
Caleb Williams.
I'm not seeing. I'm still not seeing it. I'm sorry. Like I'm just not seeing it. Like he's still doing the same stuff week in, week out. I'm like, dude, please, you're killing us here.
Is it fair to say that he's just Mitchell Trubisky, but with better PR?
Hey,
Is it fair to just say that?
man. The way it's looking right now, shoot. I mean, like it was crazy because I was watching like bits and pieces of the game. I'm like, dude, Jackson Dart looks better than him right now. And Jackson Dart is a rookie. He wasn't even expected to be good. Like you were the #1 overall pick. What is going on? Like you look at Jaden Daniels, you look at Drake May, then you look at Caleb Williams. You wouldn't guess that which one would got drafted first overall with the way the performance is looking. Like it's crazy.
And I've noticed a trend. I've noticed that since we're used to Caleb Williams being disappointing, whenever he shows any glimpses of good quarterback play, we I see the media likes to overpraise him a little bit. Specifically Dan Orlowski. Like I just saw something where he was like praising Caleb Williams. And I'm like, he did the bare minimum. You're acting like Caleb Williams is the driving force of why they're winning football games. He's not. It's the running game. Now he did get this team back from a fourth quarter deficit, but let's be honest. A lot of what's going on with this offense and why they're down in games, why they can't consistently produce points is because of Caleb Williams' lack of accuracy and ability to read the field consistently. This is Caleb Williams, man. And they're 6-3. Salute, applause. They're 6-3. But there's a ceiling. We know there's ceiling, and it's not a very high ceiling. And it's because of the quarterback. So we look at Drake May and we look at Caleb Williams and we see what a really good quarterback looks like. That's the sole reason that they're winning. And we see a quarterback that is handicapping the team, that is along for a ride. That's Caleb Williams. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
I guess it's not important.
Simple as that.
I'm look up a stat. Oh wow, is this really true?
What?
So the Bears are. Let me look. The Bears are 6-3, right?
Yeah.
According to the Google or StatMuse says their current point differential is -8 at 6-3. That is not good.
Damn it!
Like at all.
You know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy? So Caleb Williams was only pressured. He was pressured on nearly 30% of his dropbacks. Jordan Love was pressured on 40% of his dropbacks. Jordan Love had, I think it was 17 quarterback pressures. Caleb Williams had 12 quarterback pressures. Caleb Williams had 0 sacks. Jordan Love had 3 sacks. Jordan Love completed the same amount of passes as Caleb Williams, had the same amount of passing attempts as Caleb Williams, played a significantly more difficult defense, significantly harder defense, and yet Jordan Love and Caleb Williams have similar stats. And Caleb Williams has arguably the better offensive line, has the better offensive weapons, has maybe even the better play caller, and yet Caleb Williams, I know I'm comparing, Caleb Williams in year 2 to Jordan Love, who's been starting for how many years. But I'm just saying, like, man, Caleb Williams, bro, he has a lot around him, and he's still struggling. What more do you want me to say?
He needs more time. That's what they want you to say. Which he does, but like, bro, the number 1 pick got to show you something within the first 2 years at least.
And
alleged generational prospect, mind you.
And I feel like the media likes to overrate the fact that, oh my God, he brought them back from a deficit. They did the exact same thing with Bo Nix. Oh my God, he's so great in the fourth quarter. All right, but what about the other times during the game? You can't just live off of the fact that, he's great in the fourth quarter. There's still 3 other quarters that transpire, and if you're playing a team where that team is just not very good, they're struggling, but your offense is struggling as well because of you, and then all of a sudden fourth quarter rolls around and you just so happen to win the game. Is that like, why are we praising you for that? It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like, quarterback can be bad for 3 quarters, then the fourth quarter rolls around and all of a sudden we're praising him and he's the best ever. Like, stop.
Yeah, it's ludicrous.
It's anywho, I sound like I'm hating right now. I don't care. Anywho,
Well,
let's move
you
on.
are a division rival, so it'd be justified.
I am, but it is. Anywho, let's move on. Broncos, Raiders. I knew Broncos were going to win the game. Raiders, they suck. Not the best game for Bo Nix. I will say that Bo Nix continues to be underwhelming. Not the biggest fan of Bo Nix.
Me either. He's honestly having a bad season. I don't care what the win. I don't believe in the QB wins foolishness. He's not playing good. Point blank. Period.
Not at all. Not at all. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Jets, Browns.
I thought the
Two
Browns
terrible
would win.
football teams. Thought the Browns would win.
Dylan
I thought the
Gabriel
Browns would
scored,
win.
man.
I thought the Browns would win as well, but it's whatever. Kevin Stefanski, how does he still have a job at this point? I'm surprised. Like seriously,
Can't pass it. Stupid.
like I don't understand why he still has a job in 2025 when you single-handedly made Joe Flacco look like a horrible QB. He goes to the Bengals. He looks like a good QB now. Dylan Gabriel, you're starting a third-round pick who, even during the draft process, many people, including myself and you, were not sold on Dylan Gabriel as a quarterback. We saw that Ohio State game. We saw what he looked like. The dude has a noodle for an arm, and he's short as a quarterback, and he's not very athletic. There's just so many red flags when it comes to Dylan Gabriel, and you continue to start him over and over and over again. Why is he still a head coach?
Let
I
me
don't
tell
know.
you something. You lose a game where the opposing QB threw for 54 yards. You need to be fired. That is unacceptable. 54 yards. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know what the Browns ownership is doing. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know. Seriously, Andrew Berry, the Browns ownership, it's just a colossal disaster. What are we doing? Why is Shador not starting the game? Why is he not? Are you guys
Like he's not even getting
purposely trying to
any
tank
like.
game?
At least get him like if Dylan Gabe was stinking up the at least like pull him and let Shador get a series or two. He can't even get that. At this point,
I
we're
think
not
they're
even asking
purposely
for him to
tanking.
start. We're asking him to at least get some type of opportunity.
I think they're purposely tanking. I think that's why.
That they just the fancy gonna take himself to the unemployment line.
But hey, it doesn't really matter because I think ownership. I think at this point, it's probably ownership that's telling him, "Don't start Shador. We're going to tank for Ty Simpson or Fernando
It
Mendoza." I
has to
think at
be
this
like he
point,
has to be
they got to
getting a
be
call
tanking.
from up top because in the preview, like last year, they were swapping in and out QBs at will. So
Yeah.
he had to get told something because it just doesn't make sense.
I think they're purposely trying to tank games at this point. There's no reason why you have Dylan Gabriel as your starting quarterback in 2025 for the Browns. He's a third string at best, in my opinion. I don't think he should even be your backup. And the fact that you're continuously having him start games for you and he's looking horrible week after week, this is just another way for a team to tank football games. And it's just that simple. They don't want to put Shador in because they know that if they put Shador in, he could potentially win them some games, and that will hurt their chances of getting one of the top QBs in the draft. That is my opinion. This is not any sources. It's just my opinion. Looking from the outside in, I believe they're just trying to tank games. Simple as that. And they'll probably put
Probably on
Shador in.
something, honestly.
They're probably going to wait until literally the end of the season, maybe even the final game. Don't be surprised if, like, the final 2 games they decide we'll put Shador in. They're not even going to wait until the final 4 games. It's going to be the final 2 games. Just you wait. Just you wait. When there's like rumblings of the Browns might get the #1 pick, they'll probably wait until the last game of the season for the last 2 games of the season. And you say, you know what, we already got a top 2 pick. let's put Shador in the game.
Nasty word.
I know it's not. It's nasty work. Nasty work. Um. Steelers, Chargers. I had to start Chargers winning this game. Steelers. Well, actually, no. I had the Steelers. Did
I
I?
picked the
Let me check.
Steelers,
I think I
unfortunately.
picked the Steelers. I think I picked the Steelers. I didn't have. Why did I pick the Steelers?
The only reason I picked the Steelers is because of Mike Tomlin's record as the underdog. It's like he's like 60 something and 20 something crazy like that. So I was like, oh, but no,
I
they
think it was
just they
injuries.
got built.
I think it was injuries why I picked the Steelers because I think with Joe Alt going down and a
Mm.
couple of things, couple of players injured on the Chargers. I think that's the reason why I picked the Steelers to win. But it didn't matter because the Steelers are the Steelers. They're falling apart yet again. This is around the season where the Steelers start to melt down a little bit. They start to cool off. And at this point, with Baltimore starting to climb up into the division rankings and get some wins, I'm seeing how it's playing out. We're going to see a Steelers versus Ravens for the division title.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. We got Saints, Panthers. Don't really care. I mean, Panthers are Packers.
People need to open their eyes. Bryce Young is not good. He got outplayed by Tyler Shuck. And now Panthers fans are trying to turn on Dave Canales because he said the reason why we ain't calling no deep shots. He pretty much was trying to say it in a political way is we ain't ready for no deep shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, listen, it's okay. Bryce Young, he's not the guy. I know you want him to be so badly. You drafted him first overall. He's supposed to be. He's not the guy. It's year 3. Give it up. I know the weapons aren't the greatest in the world, but something's got to give. It can't always be everybody else.
All right. Jaguars versus Texans. I picked the Jags to win this game, and
I picked
they
Texans.
disappointed me. I know you did. Because the CJ Stroud, he was out for injury. So I thought Davis Mills starting. Jaguars got this in the bag. No, they don't. No, they don't. This was
an embarrassing collapse.
I don't know what to say.
And this is why the Jags won't ever be anything in this league.
How do you feel about what's the head coach? The Jags. What's his name again?
Liam Cohen.
How do you feel about
I like Liam Cohen, but this game was outrageous. You was up 29-10 with a minute 33 left in the third quarter. And they go and score 26 unanswered points. You couldn't generate a field goal.
Oh, you son of a
in
bitch.
16 minutes of football.
The fuck you, Bill?
That is outrageous. And I think Liam Cohen, he's going to be a good coach. I think he has a good he has good, but dog. Trevor Lawrence isn't the guy. Brian Thomas Jr.
He's hurt.
Okay, so he
Was
didn't
he
even
playing?
play. Oh yeah, he right. He didn't even play.
Travis Hunter's out for the season now.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. Whew. Godspeed.
Godspeed.
And that defense is no way you gave up 26 unanswered points to Davis Mills. I'm sorry. That is ridiculous. And we all know how garbage that Texans line is. You only managed to get 2 sacks. Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick. Where you at? We're looking for you. Traded for Greg Newsome. I don't know why you did that. He over there celebrating when on an incompletion. It was like second and goal. He thought you think they won the game. Man, something's got to give. The Jags, they just destined for disappointment at this point because I wouldn't even be surprised if Texans mess around win second place in that division and kick them folks out the playoffs.
Yeah, it's looking like it with all the injuries on offense. It
And I
doesn't seem like
know,
they can overcome it.
yeah, I know. Like the Texans, they had an they got an elite defense, probably top 2 in the league. But you score 29 points on the road, and it's the third quarter. You're supposed to win that game. I'm sorry, you're supposed to win that game. Point blank. Period. I don't know who the coordinators are, but that is outrageous.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I'm wondering, like after the season, are the Jaguars they going to move in a different direction for a quarterback? Are they going to keep Trevor
No,
Lawrence but have a QB competition?
no, they paid him all that money. He's starting.
If I'm the Jaguars, I'm calling San Francisco and I say, hey, we want Mac Jones. Let's make a trade. I'm making a trade for Mac Jones and having a QB competition. That's what I'm doing because Trevor Lawrence at this stage of his career, this is who he is. Just like with Justin Fields, just like with all these other QBs that came out of the draft and been in the league for like 4 or 5. This is just who he is. I think at this point, you have to shake something up. You have to try to motivate him or something. And I believe the best way they can do that is bring in a guy like Mac Jones, give up a 4th-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, whatever it is, and you make a QB competition, just like what the Colts did with Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. And the better quarterback wins. Doesn't matter how much money you have. The better quarterback wins.
That's a lot of money on the bench. $24 million next year going to be on the bench.
I know, but check this out though. You're paying pennies on the dollar for Mac Jones if you trade for him. So yeah, Trevor Lawrence is making a lot of money, but you're not paying Mac Jones a whole bunch of money. So you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
And you can't really trade. You can't trade him either. Trade Trevor Lawrence either. You know what his dead cap hit is next
Probably like
year?
90 million. Probably
116 million.
Dang. That's why I say you bring in Mac Jones and you create a QB competition. Whoever's the best wins.
You know what? Maybe that's the motivation he needs to get his act together. Because as it stands right now, they ain't winning nothing with that dude at the helm.
And then he'll be the most expensive backup in the league if he loses. And then after that year, I don't know what his cap hit going to be. I don't know what his dead cap hit going to be in 2027, but
it's still high. It's like 90 million.
I'm just saying, like, well, if you have a good quarterback and you're paying him pennies on the dollar, it don't matter how much his cap hit will be. If you're paying him pennies on the dollar, you can eat it. It doesn't really matter. I know Bo Nix is garbage, but look what happened with the Broncos. They're able to rebuild that team even with the amount of dead cap money from Russell Wilson's contract. You can still figure out ways. You can still figure out ways to build a really good roster as long as the QB is competent enough, and as long as you're not paying the QB a whole bunch of money, who's replacing the past QB that's making a bunch of money. So if I'm the Jags, I'm going after Mac Jones. I'm calling San Francisco and giving them maybe a 3rd-round pick and hoping that Mac Jones can be a Sam Darnold, a Daniel Jones, who they can resurrect their career. Because when he was in Jacksonville last year, he had a pretty good stretch for them. He was actually pretty decent. Him and Brian Thomas Jr. had a really good connection. Matter of fact, I want to say Brian Thomas Jr. had his best numbers when Mac Jones was his quarterback. So I could be wrong about that, but a lot of people have been saying that. So I think, why not? Why not? Why not do it?
Why not? Hey, screw it.
Yeah, screw it. You got nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose at this point. So, all right, I think that'll do it for all the games of this week.
That's it.
All right, let's do the final segment. You already know.
The
Brian,
people
who you
segment.
saluting? Who you
All
saluting?
right, week 11 NFL. That's a week 11. Let me redo that. Week 10 NFL salute segment. We got 3 players for you. Best performances of the week. Number 1, we got Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis coach, doing it all the way in Germany. 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. He even had 44 receiver yards in there. That's almost 300 yards of total offense by one player. People getting the big win in overtime in Germany against the Atlanta Falcons. Second on this, we got Will McDonald. He said, y'all got rid of Quentin Williams, y'all got rid of Sauce. I'ma step up and take the lead on this one. 4 sacks, 8 pressures against the Cleveland Football Browns. Daggone shame what they doing to Shador over there. But number 3 on the list, we got Devon Achane going against the Buffalo Bills, getting the upset victory. He had 174 on the ground. He had 51 through the air. Don't forget, he had 2 TDs as well. And for the recap for this, we got Jonathan Taylor, Will McDonald, and Devon Achane. Salute.
Like it. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys for tuning in again. See you guys next week. Peace.